comparatively normal Raggedy Ann doll in the Warrens Occult Museum. The doll of Shadow is a naturally creepy object. It is made up of human bones. The teeth, nails, and feathers are from real animals. The Okiku doll resides in Monenji Temple in Hokkaido, Japan, where it is claimed that a priest regularly trims Okiku's still-growing hair. It is said that even a scientific examination of Okiku confirmed that the hair was that of a human child. The Woman of the Rain Curse painting. I bet you didn't know that the curse featured in Hex at Alton Towers is actually real. You can go and visit the chained oak tree only a short walk away from the park. You can see all the original chains and the fallen branches.
Believe it or not, this is a well-documented true story. In 1947, an American ship picked up a horrifying distress signal coming from an unidentified vessel. The first transmission was all officers, including the captain, are dead. The next transmission was the whole crew is dead. The last transmission was I die, and then silence. The Americans traced the signal back to a ship that's drifting off in the middle of the Indian Ocean. They quickly assemble a rescue team who boards the ship. They find the entire crew has perished in the exact same position. They are on their backs with their hands up as if fighting with some unseen force, and they look like this. There was no physical damage to the bodies or to the ship itself. However, even though it was 100 degrees outside, it was 40 degrees on the ship, and the bodies were rapidly decomposing. As soon as they tie up the ship to tow it in, it explodes, and then it sinks. To this day, no one knows what happened inside of that ship. Some say it was a chemical leak, others aren't so sure. Whatever you do not try this curse. First, you need to write down name of your crush or person you like on a piece of paper. Next, you need to crumble up that piece of paper and blow on it 3 times in a row. Then make sure to keep it in your pocket for 1 whole day. If you manage to do it for full 24 hours, something crazy will happen. But before I tell you what it is, I just found this app which can give you free stuff like AirPods, discounts and clothing just for walking outside. If you want to try it out, just click the link in my bio. After 24 hours, you will suddenly realize that your crush is paying attention to you. Then you need to hide your paper, but don't destroy it. Because if you do or your crush sees that paper, she or he will hate you forever. Like and click plus for more.
Terrifying Cursed Objects That Will Haunt Your Dreams, Part 1. Robert the Doll. According to legend, in the early 1900s, a wealthy American family known as the Ottos committed an unspeakable offense against their young maid from the Bahamas. In an act of retaliation, the maid gifted the young Otto boy, Eugene, a doll named Robert, which had been cursed by a voodoo priestess. In the following years, Eugene would become uncomfortably close to the doll, speaking to it as if it were a real person, and becoming violently angry with anyone who looked at it without his permission, claiming that they were being disrespectful to Robert. In addition, most of the Otto family friends stopped visiting, claiming to have seen the doll move by itself, or having heard it giggling late at night. Eventually, the Otto family sent the doll to a museum to get rid of it, where it remains to this day. Thousands of people have attributed tragedies that have occurred in their life to having visited Robert the doll, and it is said that if you view it without its permission, misfortune will find you as well. Tag a friend to pass the curse along and follow for more.
Cursed Objects You Should Never Go Near Part 3. Now y'all know who this is, right? Well, this was inspired by this. Long ago, a rich family owned a mansion, and in that mansion worked slaves. One day, the mistress found out that one of her slaves had been practicing black magic, so she fired her. Before leaving, the slave gave a doll to Robert, the kid. The doll resembled Robert, with real human hair believed to be from the child himself. As soon as the boy received the doll, he named it Robert after himself. Soon enough, strange things would happen around the house. The boy would talk to Robert, and supposedly the doll would talk back in a deep voice. Fast forwarding a few years, the boy grew up and gave the doll to a museum in Florida. There, the workers experienced that Robert would bang on the glass every time they would try to clean the case. On top of that, visitors are advised to ask Robert permission to take a picture of the doll. And if you didn't ask permission and took the picture, you would be cursed by Robert. Those letters behind him are from people who took the picture without his permission. Like and follow.
Today's cursed jewelry item was discovered only about 40 years ago. This is the Delhi Purple Sapphire. It was discovered by Peter Tandy, a curator at the Natural History Museum in London. It was found inside the museum's mineral cabinets and supposedly was in several boxes surrounded by protective charms with the warning that said, "Whoever then shall open it shall first read out this warning and then do as he pleases with the jewel. My advice to him or her is to cast it into the sea." Many suspect that it's looted treasure stolen from Temple of Indra in Kanpur. It was said to be brought into England by Bengal cavalryman Colonel W. Ferris, who eventually went bankrupt, as did his son, after he inherited the stone. So he gave it away to friends who promptly returned it after experiencing mountains of misfortune, including a singer who lost her voice forever after having the stone. It had also been reported that Edward had thrown it into the Regent's Canal, only to have it returned a few months later after a dealer bought it from a local dredger. And the jewel was eventually sealed up and sent away to a family banker with the instructions that it should stay forever locked away until his death. Only after 3 years after he died would his banker be allowed to donate it, and under no circumstances was his daughter ever allowed to touch or possess the stone.
Real life cursed objects part 1. Number 1 is the Vasano vase. In the 15th century, this vase was given to a bride on her wedding day, and she later got murdered the same day. The vase was then passed around, and the curse says that whoever touches it will die.
Cursed objects that actually exist. Okay, this one actually freaked me out. This is of the Curse of the Crying Boy painting. This painting was originally done by Giovanni Bragolin in the 1950s. It became very popular and was mass-produced, so naturally it was hung in many homes across England. However, many of these homes started to catch fire and burn to the ground for no apparent reason. But that's not even the most disturbing part. The most disturbing part is that when people went into the ruins of the burned down houses, they found that the Crying Boy painting was completely untouched by flames. Here are some newspaper articles from that time. Reproductions of this painting might still be circulating around the world today. So if you happen to come across this painting, make sure to stay far away.
Real life cursed objects. Number 1, Annabelle. Now if you've seen the films Annabelle, you'll know she's a very creepy doll. However, in real life, she doesn't look so creepy. Although this doll is said to have killed around 3 people. Number 2, the Black Mirror. This mirror is a one-of-a-kind and sits inside of a travelling museum. People have reported looking into this mirror and seeing bodies or really horrible things, or even seeing corpses of themselves. Number 3, Robert the Doll. This is Rob, and he is said to be the most haunted doll in the world. I saw him last year and trust me, it is terrifying. Back in the late 1800s, he was said to be cursed by a young boy named Robert Eugene Otto. He had apparently been spotted moving places randomly in the middle of the night and even picking up weapons. This doll is so haunted you can visit him though in the museum in Florida Keys. However, you have to ask him for his permission to take a photo. Sounds stupid, but it is terrifying. People have actually written to Robert apologising after they did not ask for his permission because bad things happened to them.